Green Lanterns, number 44. This starts off with Jessica in therapy, and we're talking about our three friends who died. Who I'm actually going to that maybe who the Hunters looked like last issue at the
Yeah.
end. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because they were out on a camping trip.
That's right.
We don't
Yeah.
really know what happens. We know that it triggered her agoraphobia, and she didn't want to go back outside.
Yeah, because obviously we said last week, oh, they look like Hunters, and then our last issue, and then as soon as they mentioned their friends, went, oh, that's who they were. They were our friends who died.
Yeah, I forgot about this entire thing.
This is what kickstarted their whole like staying in the apartment for years. So.
Yeah, which I like though that they didn't jump right to it. Like, yeah, she had her anxiety issues and it prevented her from making constructs, and she overcame that, and she's out of really. But we haven't gone too deep on the hows and the whys.
But now we're getting
cool.
to it, and I kind of like this. I like that we're getting this arc that's focused on Jessica and her issues.
Yeah.
And the whole point of this is that she refuses to talk about it with the therapist, and she like basically runs off to be a Green Lantern because that's distracting her from her problems. And it's like, oh, Singularity Jane's out and about, and she's on this robot planet, and she's pretending to be a robot, and this robot dad wants custody of his robot daughter. And apparently it transforms, because at one point it transforms into a spider tank, and his daughter's inside the tank.
Yep.
So it's the whole thing. Anyway, so that's all fun, goofy sci-fi stuff. But the meat of the issue is that Singularity Jane actually wanted Jess to come find her. She wants to make her an offer because she feeds off pain and despair and darkness and all that things. And when she looked into Jess, she saw there was like a void. There was stuff missing. There was a black hole, as she puts it. And she wants to help her find those memories. And the only thing she wants in return, the price, is that she gets to like and she says accept it because she wants to feed off of it. She wants to feed off of her. I was like, oh, this is an interesting idea. And of course, they cut away to Simon, like, doing the action, solving the robot problem.
I have a problem with
the phasing.
Stop giving them new powers. I don't like it. Green Lanterns make constructs. That's it.
Joe was funny.
It's not a magic ring anymore. This is not Sentinel and the Starheart and Alan Scott. Like,
do you know what was funny about it though? Is as soon as I read it, hey Rig, I need that ability, and I'm like, what's he doing here? And he fades through it. My first thought was Connor's going to complain about this.
Well, I feel perfectly justified in complaining about this. It's really undermining the Green Lantern mythos for me, because the whole point of these rings is this is their defined power set. It has been that way for decades. This is what they do. And now it's just like, okay, now they can do this, now they can do that. They just do whatever the hell you want, whatever the hell the story needs. Who cares?
We have corrected actual facts with Tim Seeley on Twitter. I feel like if we're going to come at him now with even more corrections, but this time it's going to be nerdy shit like this.
Here's the thing. If anybody's ring's going to have these powers and it would be justified, it's Hal Jordan's ring that he forged from pure will, right?
Yeah.
Because that's basically a magic ring at that point. But I feel like Jessica and Simon's ring, because Simon's ring is a regular ring. We found out Jessica's ring is one of the first rings. And that's why it acts the way it does. So I agree with Connor here that it kind of undermines the...
I don't disagree, actually. I actually agree. I don't like it either. I don't like the when they can disguise themselves as someone else, but it's not green. It's like just like full color.
Yeah.
I actually agree that these are things that... Because I hate when they make a thing that'll actually produce something. Like the example I always go back to is like them making a flamethrower in the movie, and it actually shoots real flames. I'm like, no. Green flames, maybe.
Yeah, but when they try and put out a fire, and they make a hose, but then actual water comes out.
Yeah, that bullshit. That shouldn't be happening.
Like, just smother it with anything. Just get rid of the oxygen. It's fine. You don't need to do water.
Yeah, or you hook it up that green hose to a real fire hydrant and it works.
Sure, I'll accept that. Yeah.
But yeah. All that said, though, I did love the sci-fi robot dad and his PTSD.
Oh yeah.
Because he was a soldier, but now there's no war, and so he's not qualified for anything else, so he acts out. And I like how anytime sci-fi can address real issues, it always makes it.
It's at the end, it's like, but now they're just going to take my kid again. They're not going to let me have her now.
Yeah, there was a sadness there. Also, Jessica talking to the kids, like, who's a robot, something or other. Yeah, the baby talk with the robot.
Cutest little cyborg.
I am.
No, there was a baby talk bubble where she called him a wobot.
Oh yeah.
Jessica's become such a great character, and it was almost a throwaway by John's, where he was like, "Oh, what's coming with her? She's the greatest threat." And that could still happen, right? But I feel like we're off of that path.
Well, I think
I disagree. I think that's what this is starting to get at now.
Yeah,
actually, with
yeah,
the
I
ring.
think-
we know where this is going from solicits of to do with the ring's awareness. So I think it's going to be to do with that.
Yeah, but I think this might lead into that, but I think that's kind of separate. That's what I was going to say. The next arc is about the ring, and the Guardians kind of been like, hey, this ring is doing things it shouldn't be, and that will probably lead to why she's the big threat that was teased. But this stuff feels more personal for her, and why, what she's went through, and what's... Because her not remembering stuff, I mean, that might end up being to do with the power ring that she had before.
Well, here's the thing. It really feels like the ring is corrupting her into this. The way it talks, and, last issue, at the end of last issue especially, it felt like the ring was the one in control projecting the hunters, right?
Well,
sure.
So my take on all this is she buried that, right? It's deep in her subconscious. And the ring, it's powered off of your will. So her will of burying it, as I think, now the ring is acting all this out almost from her subconscious, like a dream. Because when that happened, she was dreaming. So she's not...
She was watching movies.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, she was watching... Because there was a big Belly Burger wrapper on the floor. I remember this very vividly.
Yeah, she was sat on the sofa.
Yeah.
So I remember she was asleep. But I might have just... not looked as in depth.
Yeah.
I think that was a different point though, where the ring was like standing over her. I think that was the issue before, maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe it still goes into this is her subconscious, and dealing with it's such a deep scar.
It could be that too, because I think when I read that solicit about the whole ring and the Guardians fearing it, my instant reaction was, no, a ring is great, the ring's a good thing, you just feel what you don't understand. And that's kind of how I'm expecting it to go. But it could go down the path that the ring's actually doing bad things. So,
I think that's what I was at first, but the more I'm seeing the stuff like last issue, I'm like, okay, maybe the ring, it's, we think it's a good thing because we're like, oh, it's all friendly, it's fun, but actually it's not. It's actually quite sinister.
Yeah,
that was Volthoom. Right, that was the entity in.
It was originally,
yeah. I
mean, originally it comes to you as your friend, and then it starts making you do things you don't want to do.
Which is why I think it's maybe more interesting. If ultimately it's a good thing. It's just whatever else is going on, or what is something else, or it's
also. I like the flashback to her as Power Ring with the thing on her eye. That was nice
with the squiggle instead of the lantern symbol.
Yeah. So basically, Jane makes this offer. We cut to Baz. He comes back, and she plays it all cool and it's whatever. But then you see the contract with a kiss on it, and it's like, oh, okay, oh dear. No. And then the big ending is that she lies to Baz and says she's going to be her sister. But then her sister's like phones Baz and is like, hey, Baz, is Jessica around? She's meant to come by. And then she's like, yeah, there's a big black hole in the sky.
Yeah.
He should have known something was wrong when she turned down pancakes.
Yeah, I know. That was the first sign.
Yeah, it's too obvious.
I want pancakes now.
I'm pretty hungry myself. Not gonna lie.
But good. I'm still loving it. This
was great. I love what it's doing with Jess. I love that it's focusing on her and dealing with her actual issues. All that stuff. Yeah. I'm down with it. I'm down with what Seeley's doing. Outside of these random new powers that Baz seems to keep getting.
Yeah.
Both of them, though, as well, because Jessica did the disguise as well.
True. But Baz has got his emerald sight, and now he's used this phasing thing.
I'm okay with the emerald sight because that feels in keeping with the extra things that sometimes happen.
With
whereas,
the
they'll have like.
I'm just saying, if we're at this point, we're racking up all the new abilities since the start of this run, or since the start of Rebirth, I guess, more specifically. That you add that in there.
I think the thing is the emerald sight that feels very unique to Baz, so I'm okay with that one because a lot of the lands they have this unique thing, right? Yeah. Whereas the disguise and the phasing that just feels like the ring's just doing its thing.
That's lazy writing.
Yeah, it's just like what do I need for this one? Oh, I'll just give him a new power. That's fine.
No, that's fair. It bothers me too. I laugh because I knew Connor would really complain.
I really hate it. I do. I do with a passion.